In this Tech Byte, I'll be reviewing the steps needed to create a data source file. A data source file is needed to create a mail merge letter. I'm Elaine Boyd and I'll be your instructor. The data source file is a CSV file that will be pulled into your Word doc and will be used to create the merge fields. This is done in the staff portal, so let's log in. The mail merge operations can be found under the Manage menu, and you can see here there's 3 steps to that, and this Tech Byte will just be covering the building of the data source file. Now before I get started, please note that some of the data entry fields are flagged with a red asterisk. This means that they are required, so we'll be covering those 3 areas. So first you need to indicate what type of mail merge letter you're going to be creating. With the release of 4.3, we had 2 areas of MMS that you could create a mail merge letter for here in the staff portal. The first one was biographical, and then there are template types that deal with daily attendance as well as class attendance. With future releases, we are going to be adding discipline, grade reporting, and that list will just keep building. So today we are going to create a data source file that is on attendance totals. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to enter in my title. Now this title is going to be the name of the data source CSV file. So we need to make sure that we adhere to the standard naming practices for Word documents. So we need to avoid the ampersand, $, pound sign, and so forth. So I'm going to keep mine. Numbers are appropriate. Under the underline is also appropriate, but I'm going to keep mine attendance, tote, and it's going to be letter. Now, as soon as you select your template type, MMS is going to automatically load some default values that it feels is appropriate or that you would be pulling in for a letter to the parents relating to attendance totals. You do have still some available data fields to you, and I just want to explain the naming convention. Regardless of the template type that you select, you will have access to contact information as well as student biographical. Looking at our examples here, we have some combined fields. So this is the student name, and then it's the last name, first name, and middle initial. Here we have the AM bus stop, and in parentheses we have the field name as it is found in your database. So what you're seeing here is the description for the field and then the field name. If I look at my AAP underscore Pell, this is actually a user-defined field. So any of your state reporting fields, any fields that you add to the database that is unique to your school, it's going to display the field name, and in parentheses it's going to indicate that it's a user-defined field. So it is sorted alphabetically. I will say that all of the attendance total specific fields are already going to be selected for you in the selected data fields. If you choose to add additional fields, or you choose to add all of the fields available to you and then realize that you really don't want to do that, it's okay to add a few extra fields that you think you might want to pull into your Microsoft Word letter, but the more fields you have, the more fields you're going to have to scroll through that list when you are adding the merge fields. So I would use a little bit of caution and not add all of the fields. So rather than move everything back and start all over and hand-picking the fields, we give you the option of resetting to the default selected data fields. So there we go. And I think that is pretty much all that I want to add. If I scroll up a bit here, you're going to see some of the attendance fields. So we have the total sessions present. We have the total sessions absent and then the data field name following in parentheses. And we give you the option of saving the settings. That way, if you need to come back in here and recreate your data source file, you can recall those settings, make any changes that you need, and then recreate that data source file. Once you have everything all set up, you have the template type, you have the title name, and you have the field selected. All you have to do is click on the Save Data Source, and that is going to create the file for you. So you can see here I have my CSV file that was created. I recommend not opening the data source file. Sometimes things happen to it, and when you are trying to work with it in your Word document, it doesn't behave correctly. So unless you really have to, I would not open up that data source file. So I'm going to minimize my staff portal, and I'm going to go to my downloads folder. Now that is a Windows setting or a setting on your Mac that you can determine when you download files from the internet where those files are going to end up. For me, my default is that everything goes in my downloads folder. So if I click on that, and there's my CSV file. So now I'm ready to open up and start creating my mail merge letter in Microsoft Word and pull in my merge fields.